I'm excited to announce a new sponsor of mine, Main Shore Solutions. If you or someone you know needs to have a dock installed, removed, or if you're looking to improve your waterfront property, give Main Shore Solutions a call at 290-4891 or visit their website, mainshoresolutions.com. Always great having my next guest on the show. The Mule, Nate White, is back in action November the 11th, the NEF 55 in Bangor when he faces Cody Dular. Nate, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Happy to have you back. Excited to see you fight again. We saw you recently pick up another win. Do you think this is something that we're going to start to see more and more now as you fight consistently here moving forward?
I'd like to, but I kind of want to take it slow. Where I had that long layoff, due to COVID, then being sent to the border. Um, I'm trying to find my love for the sport again. I kind of fell out of it, got out of shape and all that. So trying to get it all back together.
What do you think it was that caused you to maybe fall out of love with the sport?
Um, just the big layoff. Not train. I didn't train hardly at all that whole time I was during that whole period of time where I wasn't fighting. Uh, so just getting back in shape and uh, getting over that hump, I suppose.
Has it been difficult to get back in shape? I know this fight's going to be a catchweight at 195. Has it been harder for you than maybe when you were younger to lose the weight and kind of get lean?
No, actually, it's been going really well. This camp, last camp was short. It was uh that I was a little nervous to take that last fight I had, actually, just because it'd been so long, and then I'd only trained for a month or two for that fight. After 3 years of doing nothing. But this fight camp, I'm starting to feel back into it. The cardio's back. I'm lower in weight than I was for that fight. I look better. I feel better. So everything's going well in this camp, and uh, I'm excited for it.
Ideally, what weight would you like to fight at in the future? Do you still want to stay around that 185 range, or do you think you're going to go back down to fight where you used to be at 145, 155?
I really don't have any plans for that right now. Just kind of playing everything by ear, and uh, ideally, I would like to slowly move down in weight, but I don't want to do it in a drastic sense and lose a bunch of weight at once. I want to take it. I kind of want to just take my whole career really slow and progress in the right ways.
I feel like too, obviously we're all getting older. You're older since you made a big splash here in the New England MMA scene when you were first coming out. Staying undefeated, which you still are. But I feel like maybe welterweight might be a good weight class for you. Do you feel like that might make the most sense for you? Down the line.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like definitely in that area. Maybe even eventually lower than that. Who knows? But like I said, I don't really want to cut a bunch of weight. I don't really believe when you cut a lot of weight, you're definitely not fighting at your best. So I'd like to see where, after consistent training and stuff, where I end up being and fight within 10 pounds of that.
Okay. Fair enough. Let me talk to you about something that I mean, I don't think it would be uncomfortable because you speak your mind about anything really. But there's been a little bit of backlash, some social media chatter. Guys that are, I guess, upset that you were, ranked number one at a couple different weight classes. Calling you out to fight and then saying maybe you're ducking them. Can you just kind of give me your side of the story? Like, is there a fight that maybe you want, and do you feel like there's a big fight that could be on the horizon from one of those guys that has maybe said some stuff online?
First off, I'm glad people are talking. They can, I say what I feel like. I say what's on my mind, and I feel as though everybody has that right. Uh, I don't, it doesn't really bother me what they say, and I don't make those rankings. Somebody else does, and they have their their algorithm and how they do those. And, it is what it is. But like I said, like I want to take my fight career really slow. I want to progress. I know where I'm at. These guys know where, their skill level is and how often they can train and stuff. So, like maybe I'm not ready for those fights. So, uh, it is what it is. And, the fights that I'm taking are, helping me get back into the sport. Say COVID never happened. I fought 5 times in a year, would have been a six. I would have fought Phil Pearson. And, maybe I would have gone pro after that. Who knows? But now that, I had that big layoff, it's gonna slow way down because now I have to get back in shape. I'm finding my love for the sport again. So, there's reasons people do the things they do. I don't really mind the backlash. I get it. I understand why people are upset, but everybody has their own way of doing things. And maybe the way that, the whole system of MMA has been doing the way they fight and who they fight and taking these tough fights, maybe that system doesn't work, because how many guys from New England go to the UFC or whatever and do well? It's not many. We have pretty poor record in those higher levels than the rest of the country. So, maybe doing it different is the right way.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I definitely appreciate you diving into that a little bit. I feel like I had to ask you about it. It seems like your name can be a little bit of a hot button for some fighters here in the New England area, and it just, I don't know, it excites me, man, because there's potential for some really good fights down the line. As far as turning pro goes, that's something that ultimately you do want to do, though, right? Whether it's 2, 5, 8 fights down the line, ultimately you do want to turn professional and fight.
Yeah, definitely at some point. Could be next fight, could be 10 fights from now. I really have no set schedule on any of it. I just, being in the gym and progressing. And I did my first gi class since I was 16, Tuesday. So, I'm just trying to fall in love with the sport again.
Okay. I love it. Run me through your latest win, NEF 51. It was a round one armbar victory over Jack Burke. Got to be pleased with your performance. Obviously, getting the win is all that matters the most. But looking back at that fight now, run me through it. How did you assess your performance?
Actually, I was just talking about this with my coach and everything the other day. That was one, like the first fight where it really felt like it clicked. And my stand up obviously needs work. Just don't really, I know what I can do in the gym, but having the confidence to do it and not try to get clipped or anything, and age a little uncomfortable on my feet. But if it comes down to it, I know that I could stand up. But once I got him to the ground, it all just kind of fell together. And like my jujitsu, I've always criticized my jujitsu because I'm a really good wrestler, right? So, but in that fight, the jujitsu kind of clicked, and I was just doing the transitions, and it felt like second nature. So that was really cool.
Must have felt nice to get a win over, a large man at a bigger weight class, right? Did that do something for your confidence too, to get this win, fighting at a heavier weight class?
Definitely, 100%. And that being my first fight back in 3 years, it was, especially in Bangor. Bangor's crowd is crazy. So it was really cool. I that's probably my favorite fight that I've ever had.
So I think it's safe to say you're probably excited to be fighting back in Bangor.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. Bangor's awesome. We got working on a few things to make it better too.
Okay, very cool. So there could be like maybe like a walkout thing that you're doing or something post fight. Can you give me like a little hint?
Uh, People want to know, they'll have to be there to see.
Okay, I love it, my man. Tell me, camp, to who have you had around you? Who have been like your main training partners these days to get you ready to compete?
Uh, Jared Turkov has been my main practice partner this whole camp. John Assam, Curtis Olette, just a bunch of killers, a lot of studs. Just had Danny Buto in. the other day for jiu-jitsu and sparring. So, I'm working with a lot of heavier guys. They were heavier at one point. Now we're about the same weight, but a lot of athletes, a lot of guys that have been there with experience, and it's going really well.
What's it like training with Turcotte? That guy's a beast. We know what kind of an athlete he is. How is his game progressing?
Very fast. He is such a physical specimen. It when I first got back into the gym, that was one of the really hard parts about training with that group of guys. Was just you getting these different looks. Like one guy's really good at stand up, one guy's a good jiu-jitsu guy, and rolling with Jared, it's super hard just because he's so strong and he's so athletic that he's dangerous everywhere. So really keeps me on my toes and helps me develop my skills.
Do you feel like, I think it's probably safe to say that he's evolving every day, but since we saw him losing that title fight to Paisley, how much better is he now versus the guy that we saw then?
He's a whole nother guy now. He's worked on some things himself, and then we've implemented it into the team as well. So, you know, it was a learning experience for him. And he developed off. So yeah, he's a different guy now.
Okay. Can't wait to see him back in action whenever that may be. How difficult is it, Nate, for you to kind of balance your obligations, in the military, the job that you do versus training? How often are you getting into the gym to get work in now with that balance with your main life?
Some weeks it's hard, but I've been in there every week since June, July, August area, at least once. Some weeks, for work, I do tree work and stuff. So sometimes I'm working far away, and by the time I get back to town, it's 8 o'clock, so practice is over. So, but I've been trying to get in there 3 times a week, 3 to 4 times a week, and it's been going well. It is definitely hard, long days. 6 to 9 or so, pretty much every single day. Uh, it's tiring, but we're making it work. We're getting through it. We're staying healthy.
Fantastic, man. Let's talk about this fight, shall we? Again, November the 11th, back in Bangor, NEF 55. Cody Dular is the opponent. He's 1-2. He's got one round 2 victory. He's got 2 round 1 losses. So when he does lose, it's early. It's in that first round. Is this going to be a theme? Do you feel like you're going to get him out of there early again here? What do you ultimately see in this fight?
Yeah, it's gonna be fast. Don't blink. It's gonna be over in the first, and I'll have my hand raised. I don't know why he wanted this fight. I guess he was messaging Peterson asking to fight me, and I just kept on hearing about it. I don't know I don't think the guy likes me. I'm not really sure why. That seems to be a thing around New England though. So whatever. So we took it. It's a good development fight, good fight. Especially where I said where I'm at and my might with everything. Maybe this will help rejuvenate my career, anyways.
Do you see a big hole in his game? Where do you feel like you're going to be able to beat him the most at it? I mean, obviously your wrestling is high level, but do you feel like you're just better than him everywhere?
Yeah, I think his whole game is a whole. He's just not good. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who's somebody's got to look out for the kid at some point as well. You know, um, taking dumb fights isn't smart as an amateur. Brain damage is a real thing. CTE. We see it. So that's another thing is I don't want that. I don't want to have severe issues with my at a young age. So somebody's got to start looking out for the guy, but it's not going to be me.
I love it, man. I can't wait to see you back in there. And I'm excited to see whatever you have planned, whether it's pre-fight, during the walkout, or post-fight. You always come with something interesting. So we're thrilled to have you back in action, Nate. As always, it's great to talk to you. Before we do log off here today, I want to give you the floor. If there's anyone you want to thank, anything you want to plug, the floor is yours.
Thanks. First off, I'd like to thank NEF, Matt Peterson, Nick Salvo, and the whole crew, the setup crew, everybody. They're always great. I'd like to thank Bangor for hosting it. They always show out and show support. They're an awesome crowd, probably the best in Maine. I'd like to thank my boss, my crew at Red Oak Forestry, my team, Jared Turcott, Dustin Vina, Jesse Erickson, Travis Wells, everybody there. Thank you all. Thank you, my family, friends, everybody. And show up November 11th, Veterans Day, to see Cody Dular get finished in the first.